Hey, what's up, everyone? You are listening or watching my comic book journey podcast, hosted by moi. Watashi wa KNDY desu. My name is Kennedy. What's up, everyone? So, today's topic, we're going to talk about Ultraverse, Firearm, issue number 1. So, for those of you who are not familiar with Ultraverse, they were an independent company. They were a comic books that were pretty much created separately from Malibu Comics. And to make a long story short, Malibu was gaining traction, especially with the printing, with the color artwork, and Marvel wanting to prevent DC from acquiring Marvel, from DC acquiring Malibu. Pretty much, Marvel ended up buying Ultraverse, and the series went nowhere. It was one of the saddest things to see a company buy a company to not do anything with it and just let it fizzle. They did get the printing technology, but for the most part, yeah, it's a little crazy. And I know a lot of people who followed the Ultraverse is kind of bitter about the whole situation. Some people like the new Marvel collaboration because Marvel characters appeared in Ultraverse and vice versa. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about Firearm, issue number 1. So, this was September 1993. Written by James Robinson. Penciler is Cully Hamner. Letterer Tim Eldred. Color designs Paul Mounts. And editor was Chris Ulm. So June 1993, the launching of the Ultraverse line of Malibu Comics. Having already purchased titles from Malibu Comics such as The Protectors, and seeing the quality of writing coming from independent comic book companies such as Valiant, Mirage Studios, Dark Horse, Image, to name a few, it was the first time in my life where I would pay attention to comic books that were not Marvel or DC. I think with Image and Ultraverse, what they were doing at the time was definitely better than a lot of the main popular product. So the Ultraverse line from Malibu Comics was like an awakening of sort. Granted, while my hard-earned money as a college student was still being eaten by Marvel and DC thanks to their death of storylines, there are many variant covers and Wizard magazines promoting the major artists of the time, which I really bought into and led to me spending a lot of money on comic books. I started to crave for more substance than artwork. Yes, Image and Marvel DC had top artists, but I wanted the writing to accompany that art. Sometimes you could have great art, but a sucky story. Well, Ultraverse delivered when it came to story, right? So, I was wanting to get into something new and different. So the Ultraverse was something new and different, and they came into the comic scene with a bang. Commercials, merchandise, including animated comics on CD with full voice acting, to also a mini movie released on VHS. I was spending a lot of money on comics, but these initial issues of Ultraverse were quietly winning me over, especially this title, Firearm. Firearm may not have the popular artwork that was being seen at the time from the likes of the artists who went on to create Image Comics, but it had a captivating storyline that really left me craving for more and more with each issue released. The story revolved around Alex Swan, a former operative from England's government bureau known as the Lodge. His code name was Firearm, courtesy of the special weapon he used. He also happens to be a private investigator who takes on jobs that involve ultras, which are people who have been gifted with special abilities known as ultra powers. Alex Swan is not an ultra, but he is a guy with special ops skills who's not afraid to take on a challenge as long as it pays him well and keeps him afloat. The first issue features Alec being hired to find a man named Arnie Tate who vanished before his wedding date. His fiancée feels something bad must have happened to Arnie, but her father thinks that Arnie may have had cold feet, but she knows that she and her fiancé loved each other very much and wouldn't be gone or miss their wedding unless something bad has happened. And suffice to say, when Alex starts looking to the disappearance of Artie Tate, immediately he becomes a target. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to get some drink here. Sometimes when you speak a lot, you get the dry throat or dry tongue and all that stuff. Anyway, save this down. Okay, cool. As Firearm was probably one of the better written titles from the Ultraverse line, a few months later, Firearm would be released in a special limited half-hour film release, limited to 30,000 copies on VHS, and came with a special 32-page issue, 0. I remember thinking to myself, wow, Malibu is really going all out, but I suppose at the time no one knew that Malibu was having troubles because with their promotional campaign, I never expected Marvel to buy Malibu Comics, and despite Marvel Comics trying, Ultraverse would no longer be the same. So nevertheless, Ultraverse stories from 1992 to 1994 were truly special for those who grew up and read the comic books at the time. It's a shame that people who never read the Ultraverse only think about Ultraverse when it was owned by Marvel, and that line being a failure. But when Malibu Comics were responsible for Ultraverse, the stories were absolutely refreshing, addictive, and entertaining. And if you really want to read a comic book series that you can probably find entire collections on eBay for cheap, Firearm is definitely worth purchasing. So when I was, when I was reading Firearm, one of the things that I would think is, what actor can really bring Firearm to the big screen? And at the time, I was thinking of Bruce Willis, and now I think about Steve Statham, but I think this is something that could really, really make a good TV series, or even a film. But I don't know what happens with the Ultraverse titles. I know Marvel owns Ultraverse still, and it just lays dormant after all this time. It's just nothing, really. But I wish that someone would bring these characters out, especially for something today. It may not have to be tied with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I think that I do feel that Ultraverse has some characters that would really make it work on the big screen. They may not be as popular as Marvel Comics, and that's probably the caveat right there, is that they don't have the brand recognition as like the Avengers, the characters of the Avengers and so forth. But I do feel that Firearm was very cool and definitely one of the better Ultraverse series, comics series to be released. And if you have a chance, definitely pick up a copy. Again, you probably could pick up the full run on eBay for cheap, but it's definitely a title that I definitely recommend. Okay, everyone, you all take care, and I'll see you later. Wink, wink, and see you later, everyone. Bye-bye.